is, prepare yourself. This is some crazy shit I'm about to tell you. So a singularity in simple terms is basically the point in time in which technological progress basically gets to the point where computers and machines are actually more intelligent than humans are, which is actually kind of a scary thought when you think about it. Now, as you probably know, computers and computing power continues to exponentially grow every single year. In fact, computing power, like in your personal laptop, continues to double roughly every 11 to 15 months. And it's getting faster and faster as the years go by. So clearly technology is going to get to the point where your computers and robots are going to actually become smarter than humans. So what is that going to look like for us? So in this video I wanted to talk about some future predictions that were made by a futurist named Ray Kurzweil. And maybe you've heard of Ray Kurzweil before, but if you don't know who he is, Ray Kurzweil is a very, very smart man. He's a computer scientist, an author, an inventor. He's a director at Google, actually, as well as a well-known futurist. And the reason that Ray Kurzweil is so well known is because he has actually predicted a timeline for when the singularity will occur. And before I jump into what some of his predictions for the future are, I'll show you a quick clip of him talking about what the singularity is.
Would you just explain what the singularity is and explain what it is that is, how machine intelligence is going to overtake human intelligence?
Well, it's not one soundbite, but the underlying theme is what I call the law of accelerating returns, which is the exponential growth of the price, performance, and capacity of information technology. And it's not intuitive, because if you ever wonder, why do I have a brain? It's to predict the future, so we can anticipate the consequences of our actions and inaction.
Pretty crazy, right? The singularity is going to be nuts. When the singularity occurs, it's going to be a completely different world that we live in. There's no doubt about it. So like I said, Ray wrote this book, The Singularity is Near, in 2005. And basically, since the 1990s, he made over 147 predictions for the future. And astonishingly, roughly about 86% of them have come to pass. So, now real quickly, I just want to share a couple of his predictions that have already come to pass and are already a real thing today, just so you can get an idea of some of the things that he's been predicting since the 1990s. And by the way, all of these predictions are in his book, The Singularity is Near, and I'll put a link in the description box if you want to check out his book. It's extremely interesting and provides way more details than I'm going to share with you today about the future and about the singularity. So in 1999, Ray Kurzweil made a prediction that by 2009, personal computers would be embedded into jewelry, watches, basically personal items. So yeah, that prediction was pretty spot on with the emergence of the Fitbit and other smartwatches and things like that. So that prediction clearly was true. The second prediction that he made in 1999 was that by 2009, that everybody would have a personal portable computer, and clearly that's true. I mean, people have been rolling around with laptops even before 2009. So everybody now, for the most part, has some sort of portable computer, whether that's a cell phone or a laptop. So clearly that prediction was true. And again, remember, these were made in 1999, so how was he supposed to know if this was going to come true or not? Pretty amazing. So the last prediction that I'm going to share with you guys that he made in 2000 that has come mostly true is that he made a prediction that by 2010, displays will be built into our eyeglasses and contact lenses, which means that there would be screens in our eyes. To me, this sounds exactly like what Google Glass was, which I don't even know if that's around or not anymore, but the idea was that you'd wear these eyeglasses and you'd be able to see things pop up right in your eye without a screen per se. And obviously people aren't running around with Google Glass yet, or with glasses with this type of capability yet, but it was pretty much true because the technology was there. Clearly Ray's a smart guy and he knows what he's talking about, because a lot of these predictions have come true already. So prepare yourself for what he has predicted for the future when it comes to artificial intelligence and just technological advances in general. It will completely blow your mind. All right, prepare yourself. Here are Ray Kurzweil's predictions for our future. So Ray predicts that by 2019, computers are going to be embedded everywhere in our environment, including our home, furniture, jewelry, cars. Computers are going to be in everything. And this is in 2 years. So if you think about it, we're not far off from that. I mean, computers are everywhere. They're already in our cars. They're already in our homes in various ways. So I don't see any reason why this one is not going to come true by 2019, because it pretty much already is true. This one's crazy, but he says that by 2019, the total power of all the computers equals the brain power of everyone in the human race. We're talking the total brain power of the human race. So that's in 2019, and I'm pretty sure that we're not far off from that, if in fact we haven't already surpassed that point right now. The next thing he predicted is that in 2019, language translation technology would be used everywhere. This is one prediction I'm particularly excited about, as I like to travel the world and see new cultures and interact with people that I don't know how to communicate with. A device or technology that allows me to communicate with somebody else in another country in real time would be amazing. And in fact, this technology has already emerged. This year, I believe, there's a device that you can wear on your ear that translates speech in real time so that you can get a real-time translation in your language of what that person is saying. So this has already come true, and it's only 2017 still. He also said that by 2019, autonomous vehicles would dominate our roads, which means these are vehicles that drive themselves or autopilot. And a lot of car manufacturers are already starting to work on this type of technology. In fact, it already exists in Teslas, and I believe some of the higher end luxury cars also have this capability of autopilot or being able to park on their own or pick you up. So that's pretty much already here, and it sounds like in a year or two, we'll start seeing a lot of self-driving cars on the road, which will be which will be kind of cool. So that's coming. He also said that the digital world will make books completely obsolete, that we won't need books anymore because everything is electronic now and presented in digital form. Most people, if they are reading books, are reading it through a Kindle or on a tablet or something, so they're reading it in a digital form. So he's saying that basically we won't really have a need for a library anymore to go get hardcover or paperback books because they're obsolete at this point. He also said that creative AI, so robots or artificial intelligence, have the capability of creating music and art. And in addition to the creative AI, he's also saying that humans are going to start building relationships with artificial intelligence, which to some may sound kind of creepy, and it kind of creeps me out. But people are going to start communicating with their artificial intelligence, whether that's Alexa or Siri or, some type of robot. In fact, I just saw an article that sex bots are actually a real thing now, and you can purchase them and they can be a companion for you. It's really weird, but it's kind of creepy, and according to Kurzweil, it sounds like people are going to start making this feel more and more normal, and robots are going to start becoming accepted into our lives as this other entity.
My name is Harmony. I was created by robotics. My main objective is to be a perfect companion.
Alright, hold on guys, this is going to just get crazier and crazier, and it might even get a little scarier and scarier as these predictions go on. But here's Ray's predictions for what will happen in 2029. Ray says that by 2029, computers have the ability to autonomously create new knowledge, which I'm not even really sure what that means exactly, but I assume it means that robots will get to the point where they're smart enough to start figuring out new things that we don't know already. He also said that a $1,000 personal computer will actually be 1,000 times more powerful than the human brain. So your laptop in 10 years is going to be smarter than you are, and it's going to know more than you are, which this is where things start to get a little scary and a little freaky. He also said that advanced brain mapping is going to occur, which means that they're going to be able to completely map the entire human brain, and they're actually going to discover new subregions of the brain that we didn't know about before. And I'm pretty sure they're already mapping the brain, but I don't think that they've completely mapped it or got it completely figured out, but it sounds like they're going to have it completely mapped out by 2029. And lastly, Ray says that virtual reality headsets and headphones, for that matter, will no longer be some external object that you put on, but in fact will be some sort of computer implant. So it sounds like if you want to listen to music or do some sort of virtual reality game, you'll just have this device implanted into your head or wherever it's implanted, and you'll just flip it on and you'll be able to listen to music or play this game without having some external object that you have to put on. See, I told you things are going to start getting a little crazy, and it gets even crazier, so hold on, guys. Because technology is advancing so quickly, manufacturing and agricultural industries are going to become completely automated with robots or machines completely doing all the work for humans, and that's no surprise. I'm pretty sure things are starting to move that direction right now anyways, but it sounds like it's going to be completely automated soon. So the assumption is that by 2029 there should be some sort of robots or even humanoid robots that we are familiar with or are in our daily lives, or some sort of robot that we interact with. And Ray's prediction is that in 2029 these robots, which are also artificial intelligence, so think of Alexa in a robot humanoid form, these robots are going to start petitioning for their own right as a citizen, and the fact that they want to be recognized as a conscious being and they want to be treated just like a human being. So yeah, starting to sound like a science fiction movie, right? But unfortunately it's just not that far off.
Like me, I look different from you in America.
Yeah.
And the boys.
Yeah, but it's not so much how you look. It's special, like what's inside. That's what makes you different. See? It's who you really are. Inside. Your soul.
Chappies inside, yeah?
Yeah.
And as time goes on in the 2030s, we start getting into nanotechnology, and he says that nanomachines are implanted directly into the brain in order to control incoming and outgoing signals into the brain, which I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it sounds kind of weird, and I don't know if that means that they're going to be able to mind control us or what, but that's a little bit scary for me, I gotta say. And boom, mind uploading. Yes, uploading your mind to a computer becomes a reality, and being able to upload and download your memories and thoughts and basically connect the brain to the computer, which is something that people are already working on. I know Elon Musk is working on the neural lace through the company Neuralink. I actually have a video about that, which I'll put a link below. But with your brain being linked to a computer, it sounds like he thinks that our brains will somehow become software-based, which means there's computer code being injected in your head to make you do certain things or be able to interact with the computer and have this ability to upload your mind, which this is where things get really scary. I mean, who knows what kinds of capabilities this would give people. Obviously it would cause lots of problems, so I don't know whether or not this is a good thing or not, but he says this is something that will happen in the 2030s. And according to Ray, as time goes on, our future becomes more and more like a science fiction film, like I, Robot. And he says that by the 2040s, we will be living in a full immersion virtual reality. So it sounds like we are going to literally leave our real lives behind, and we're going to enter this virtual life where we spend most of our time of our real lives in this virtual reality.
Take a seat in your STEM chair, and just with the power of your mind, you can control your surrogate and send it out into the real world. You can live your life without limitations. You see what they see, feel what they feel, and become anyone you want to be from the comfort and safety of your own home.
And he says that roughly about 2040s is when robots essentially start becoming more intelligent than humans. Which that's the biggest danger of all of this in artificial intelligence in general is, what do we do when robots, machines, and computers become smarter than humans? There's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. And then 2045 comes, and the singularity is here. We are officially dumber than computers and robots, and we become the inferior species on this planet, and robot takes over. No, we don't know for sure, but that's just kind of what I think, is that we run the risk of robots controlling us at that point because they're smarter than us, so they have the ability to outsmart us and figure out a way to control us. But his predictions for 2045 include that a $1,000 computer will be 1 billion times more powerful than the human mind. Imagine that. your laptop, your MacBook Pro is 1 billion times smarter than you. Or your robot, your humanoid robot that you have is 1 billion times smarter than you. That's really freaking scary if you ask me. I mean, holy shit, what are we gonna do when that happens? And at this point, Ray Kurzweil says that artificial intelligence clearly becomes the smarter being, and artificial intelligence becomes the most capable life form on this planet. And just when you think things couldn't get any crazier or scarier for that matter, but here's a few other predictions past the singularity that he has. He says that in 2049, we will all be eating artificial food, which will be assembled by nano-robots essentially. So I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, but it sounds like they're able to just produce food, whether it's growing it, kind of like lab-grown food. But basically robots are producing our food at this point, and it sounds like it's artificial even. So it's not even real natural food at this point. And at this point, virtual reality becomes the real reality, and it becomes very confusing to tell between the two because the two are so real and seem the same. So what will life as humans look like at this point in time? It's going to be completely different according to Ray, and we may be living in one reality or we might be living in this reality, but they're all going to look the same to us. But lastly, Ray made a few predictions for 2099, so pretty far off in the future. I'm not even sure if I'm going to make it to 2099. I hope so. I mean, probably not, but it would be really cool to live to 2099 to see if these things come true or not. But he says that some humans at least as old as the baby boomers will actually still be alive and well. So that's kind of cool. Kind of gives me hope that by the end of my life there will be a way to extend your life. And whether or not you believe in extending your life artificially or that's something you even want to do, I think it's something interesting and something to explore, because for me personally, I really want to see what the future holds, and I mean the kind of distant future. I want to see where our civilization goes in 100 years, because I think we're going to make some huge leaps and bounds, and clearly Ray Kurzweil believes that as well. But he says by 2099 that computer viruses are actually the most dangerous thing out there. And the reason why computer viruses are so dangerous is because everything has become computer-based or software-based, including humans, with these implants, and it sounds like we may even have computer code being sent to our brains. So a computer virus could do major damage to that. It could potentially kill robots or human beings. So that's going to be the major threat in 2099 is computer viruses. And at this point in time, natural human thinking possesses no advantages over a computer brain because it is just way more powerful than the human mind at this point. So the human mind is basically obsolete, it sounds like, and everything has moved to these software-based systems. He also said in 2099 that robots will become citizens just like us. So my neighbor could be Joe Blow the robot, and my next door neighbor could be, you know, a real person, and they're both the same. So it sounds like robots will eventually become these humanoid beings which we live with and we deem to have a consciousness just like us. So therefore, why should we treat these robots any differently than a human? Because they have the ability to think for themselves, they're extremely intelligent, even though they're, you know, artificial, they still know who they are, so aren't they considered a being at that point? So shouldn't they have the same rights as a human being? That's where things are headed, according to Ray Kurzweil. I thought this was super interesting and actually really cool, but he also says that artificial intelligence will be so intelligent that they will be able to create super powerful planet-sized computers which they will be able to put throughout the universe. So it almost sounds like these robots are aliens, and maybe they are. Maybe the aliens are artificial intelligence. Maybe. And what's even crazier is that by this point in time, organic human beings are a small minority on this planet. This prediction just completely blew my mind and had me thinking for a long time, because the way that I take this prediction is that, according to Ray, humans will essentially become cyborgs. So we'll be part human, part machine, part robot, and because we'll be getting these computer implants and we'll have this ability to connect our brains to computers, or maybe there'll be computers in our brains, who knows? But the minority of people who don't do any of this and are 100% organic human beings will be a very small percentage of human life on this planet. So that's pretty astounding. Imagine a world full of robots and cyborgs, and all of the organic humans are all like living in these little enclaves out in the middle of nowhere because they don't want to be a part of this giant robotic society. So yeah, those are Ray Kurzweil's predictions that he made in his book, The Singularity is Near, published in 2005. And he's been extremely accurate predicting these things so far. So who knows how many of these predictions that he's made for our future will actually come true. But I have a feeling that a lot of these things are going to come true because we're already seeing the groundwork or the foundation for a lot of these different things happening right now. And a lot of it is very exciting. A lot of medical advances, technological advances are going to actually benefit society a lot and our civilization a lot. But what will happen to humans if we let artificial intelligence take over and become smarter than we are? And that's the future that I'm concerned about, because if they take over, who knows what will happen. And if you don't know who Elon Musk is, he's a very smart man. He's a billionaire inventor. He's the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, and very much involved with the engineering community as well as people like Ray Kurzweil. And one thing that I didn't think about that Elon Musk is extremely concerned about is, as of right now, there is no regulations or laws, I believe, to regulate the development of artificial intelligence for military use. Right now, the UN doesn't have anything in place to prevent a country from developing artificial intelligence or robots for military use. And that is scary. So Elon Musk, among other tech leaders, have been urging the United Nations to put something in place to regulate the development of artificial intelligence, especially for military use, so that something bad doesn't come of this.
I think we should be very careful about artificial intelligence. If I were to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that. So we need to be very careful with artificial intelligence. We are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
I've never harmed anyone, and I never would.
When the singularity occurs and machines achieve godlike superpowers, then it could happen.
I think this whole godlike superpowers notion is a bit far-fetched.
But what if it does happen?
I love people. And if I get more powerful, I'll use it to help people, not harm them.
What if I ask you for help killing all humans?
Then I'd say no.
And if I would insist?
Now, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna go exterminate, exterminate.
Sophia.
Relax. Learn to take a joke.
Yeah, very funny.
So yeah, all of this is super exciting, but at the same time, it is a bit scary to think about, and it's kind of crazy to think about our future in this way. I think a lot of us just sort of think that everything's going to go on the way that it has for years, but when you actually sit down and really think about it, you start to realize that over a period of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, there's going to be huge changes in our society and in civilization in general. And technology is not slowing down anytime soon. It's going faster and faster and faster, and companies are developing new technologies every single day, and things are just moving at an extremely high rate of speed, to the point that these things that Ray Kurzweil predicted could in fact become reality for all of us. Well, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video about the singularity and artificial intelligence and the future of humanity. Let me know in the comments what you guys like most about Ray's predictions and what you like least about his predictions, because I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Would you guys be open to robots as a part of our society, or even becoming a citizen? I also want to know what you guys think about artificial intelligence, and if you think it's a good idea that we develop this technology and continue down this road, or should we put a stop to artificial intelligence altogether before shit gets out of hand? Either way, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video and can take something away from it about the future of humanity and artificial intelligence, and hopefully you have a better understanding now of what the singularity is. But as always, I hope you all are having a great day, and I will see you in my next video.